14 feet by 29 feet. 2 artists working in 2 different boroughs.
Yeah, that's.
I had to create a database to keep track of all the components. And, you know, not only just the artists, but also the team members. Dorina, oh shoot, that's all right. Dorina, Q the photographer, some graphics, having to print images on fabric, and then chronicling the sashing, the quilt sashing that goes with the respective time period. So it wasn't just piecing together a patchwork, right? It was about, if we're talking about the rice farmer in 1618, let's say, or yeah, I think it was 1618 or 19. We're talking about a time period where black people couldn't even wear certain cloths. So they could only wear, they were forbidden, there was a law that black folks could only wear, it's like a burlap, like the potato sack kind of cloth.
Bags that
right,
the
rice came in, right.
Yeah.
And so they, you know, rough, so they couldn't wear the chintz and all the other fabrics that the Europeans were wearing. So we had to be authentic with the time period. I can't take a contemporary piece of fabric and put it in 1619. You have to look at the colors of the fabric.
Oh wow!
You're right, because they could only, those fabrics that they were wearing were only.
Do you think that there were? Did they use dyes, natural dyes like beets or strawberries or fruit dyes because they weren't allowed to?
Later, you mean to dye the fabric?
Yeah, to do something pretty with it to make it better looking.
Not initially. Maybe that came later. Right? But not initially. No, they were forbidden. I went to the Met, to their textile library. I went to, there's a professor, a black professor who wrote about the history of what enslaved people wore, what the laws were, what fabrics, how get a reproduction of a fabric that mimicked that would still hold, that had a tighter weave that would hold up in the construction of the quilt. We all did research, and so you had to be true to it. You know, as you get more into the 1970s and 80s, you can, and still being authentic, but also looking at the theme.
You had choices.
You had choices. You're looking at the theme of it, and then creating the story. So it's not just the visual presentation of it. It is a real story. A real story.
Wow, fascinating.
So that exhibit didn't open yet because of COVID. So hopefully it will open in the fall.
So these quilts are actually finished, done?
Oh yeah, we delivered those, I think it was either February 28th, 2020 or the first week in March. I can't remember. I remember the date slightly changed. But we delivered them, and we're hoping that it will open. It will be on exhibit in Harlem at the Africa Center on 110th and 5th Avenue. And of course, I'll let everybody know when that's
you
know, the history. So High on the Hog, which was on Netflix, Jessica Harris, Dr. Jessica Harris, is the curator of this particular exhibit at MoFad, and so she contributed to the first episode in High on the Hog.
She sure did.
And
she did quite a bit.
Has traveled to Benin, and that was, you know, interesting to see Benin in that way, and their culture and tradition and food and connections. Yeah. And you know, many of us see like the door of no return in Senegal and Ghana, and then to see Benin. Of course, there are doors in other places. To see Benin, which is not that I haven't often seen featured. That's true. In a contemporary time, was very refreshing to see that. I hope that I think High on the Hog needs to have at least 2, 3, 4 more seasons. Our content is endless, and High on the Hog was refreshing. some of the people, the chef at the end is in the quilt. And so when you are telling these stories, we need to hear all the stories. And
ooh, the juices.
you gotta get the juices from the chicken in.
It can't hurt it.
That's right.
Cannot hurt it.
So,